Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Dofus episodes 11 and 12. So we're back here again this week with two more episodes of Dofus. And yeah, last time we got some pretty good shit. Like, no joke. The last two episodes we had were pretty good. Our first two in a long time. Almost a year. But we are back, and yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes now. I'm actually excited for Dofus. Now, I understand that not every episode is going to be as good as those two were. I understand that we're going to have some poor episodes, we're going to have some poor weeks. But as I said before, I will not drop this show again unless I truly believe that my interest in it drops to below about 10%. Which it definitely is not anywhere near right now. Basically, I'd only drop it for the right reasons this time, rather than just feeling meh on it. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen at this point, at least. Either way, so we got two more episodes. I know nothing about them per usual, other than they're probably just going to fit the way this series goes, and give us just two stories of Caribum's past. I mean, that's kind of the obvious about it, but yeah, I don't know the exact specifics of it is what I'm saying. One thing to note, I mentioned this in my Dragon Prince reaction as well, but I figured out why my camera is doing this, why my camera is kind of like blurry. You notice it's a little bit blurry and all. I found out why it's doing that, and why it's very specifically only the tiniest bit, but very noticeably blurry. When I go to my sources on OBS here, and I go to properties and all, and then configure, the configurations for the webcam are different than on my old computer for some reason. I have no idea why. But there's no configuration option for oh my gosh, my mind is blanking on it. Sharpness, that's it. So since there's no sharpness to the video, it does come across as kind of blurry and a little out of focus like this. On OBS on my other computer, I don't know why it doesn't transfer over to here. Maybe I don't have the exact same version. But either way, on the old computer, on OBS, there was an option for sharpness to change that as well. Now, I could possibly change that in in Movie Maker. I think Movie Maker may have a sharpness option. I might be wrong. If it does, I might be able to change that. I might be able to fix that. But if not, then there's probably really nothing I can do at this point. Now, the new OBS I have, the newer version of OBS has sharpness. I did check that. So it would look a lot better, but I don't fully know how to use that yet. If I can figure more out how to use it, then maybe I'll go with that, because there are some notable differences between the version I'm using and the newer version. But if I can figure that out, I have no issue going with that if I need to. But that being said, we'll just handle that when and if we get to that. It's not like too terrible. At least you can still see me and everything. It's just a little tiny bit out of focus, a little tiny bit blurry. But yeah, I mean, as long as the reaction is still good, you'll be able to know what's going on. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm hoping for more good episodes, at least one of them, you know? Or even if they're not the greatest, even if they're not as good as the last episodes, at least I hope they're not bad, you know? But either way, I am excited to see where it goes, so we're going to get this started. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. Well, episodes. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so these were good episodes. They weren't anything spectacular, but they were good. The first episode, there's a arachne, or just a spider, in the house. Everyone's freaking out, but Carib tells Joris a story about how he once worked with an arachne. So he finds these tribal people who are blaming this dude and his arachne for kidnapping these maidens. Carib impersonates the god Ecaflip in order to get their trust, and kind of just goes off to find the maidens and anything. He makes friends with the arachne. They save the maidens from these trolls, and everything kind of goes well until the maidens all want to marry him and don't want to share. um, so yeah, we got to see God Ecaflip again. That was fun. We see him quite a bit, but I mean, it makes sense considering the circumstances of the series and Carib being an Ecaflip. I liked the idea of the episode being like that typical save the princess style mission. I mean, obviously 3 young maidens instead of a princess, but still, it's the same kind of idea. It's a save the princess style mission, and it's fun. I enjoy how stupid the trolls are. It kind of reminds me of the trolls in The Hobbit. So that's a fun little thing that I enjoyed there. I don't know if it was trying to say anything with the episode or not, because at first I'm thinking like, oh, it's going to give some kind of message. Oh, you shouldn't just mindlessly squish spiders or something. But then it's like at the end he does, because the spider is rude to him. The arachne is rude to him. And it's like, okay, maybe you're not trying to say something here. Maybe it was just for a joke. I'm not 100% on that. The second episode, though, I'd say was the better one. One, we got to look into the Jellies realm, which is something we haven't seen before. The realm of the Jellies. That's fun. Just the concept of them getting chased through the Jellies dimension by the gummy bears is hilarious to me. But yeah, either way, so the point is, we see at the beginning, Carib is going to this bakery. He exchanges some amazing magical sugar for a cake. And he tells Joris the story of how when he was obviously young, he and another baker he worked with were trying to enter a contest to become the king's personal bakers. And he worked with the 3 children of that baker, of his friend, in order to try to find his friend, Rududu, I think his name was, because he had been in the Jellies dimension to try and get the magical sugar. So while there, they get chased throughout the dimension by these gummy bears, but eventually find Rududu in a trial with King Jelly. And the King Jelly is basically like, oh, I don't give a fuck about how our deals used to be. I want all of this sugar for myself now. You can't have any. You tried to steal it, and that's sacrilege. And one thing, I don't think that's what sacrilege means. I think that I don't know if that's a bad translation or anything, but let me look this up real quick just to be sure. Sacrilege is the violation or misuse of what is regarded as sacred. Now, you could say that the Jellies saw this tree. It was something named after glucose. I don't remember exactly. They saw. I'm just going to call it the magical sugar tree. You could say they saw this sugar tree as being sacred, sure, but what they were claiming sacrilege for had nothing to do with the misuse or violation of that. They were claiming the sacrilege for the fact that he was trying to. Okay. I guess never. I guess that might count as sacrilege because I guess that would count more as violation than misuse because he was trying to take a branch from the tree. I guess that's what they were claiming sacrilege towards. I don't know. It just sounds weird to use that specific term. Um, so yeah, either way, Karub helps his friend. They zombify the jellies by hitting hitting them with the branch of the tree, which on apparently on sweets just makes them that much better, makes them that much more extravagant and sweet and delicious. I guess on jellies, it affects their biochemistry and somehow zombifies them. Because we saw when the one was initially zombified, it then hit another, and then they started splitting. They started like um, asexually reproducing, for lack of a better term. Uh, and they just keep multiplying and infecting others. It's kind of like zombies. And it's like, what? And then the king is infected, and because the king's infected, all the others just are automatically infected, which is really interesting because that kind of implies this hive mind like relationship between the king jelly and the others. Um, and then they just kind of end up riding the jellies out of the castle and then use a recall potion to escape. And this one was fun because of seeing the Jelith dimension and seeing the jellies and how they work and all of this fun little visual imagery. Um, and it was just really, it was really fun. The kids were funny. The kids were great. I like the girl. She's fucking adorable. And I didn't even realize, like watching, I didn't realize until the very end that they were the same, that they were the bakers that were at the very beginning of the episode. I, for some reason, just did not put that together. I don't know how, it was super obvious, but I did not realize that. I went back and looked at them. It's like, oh yeah, that's definitely them. They're definitely older, of course, but um, the girl is still cute. She's still cute in the current day. But yeah, it's like that was fun. They were fun characters. Rududu himself, we found out apparently after these events, after becoming the king, one of the king's bakers, he became addicted to sweets and ate himself to death, I guess. He got really sick from eating too many sweets, basically, which kind of implies maybe diabetes, which is insane. That they might have possibly hinted at that in this. Um, wow, that's because he did die. It was straight up said that he died. And speaking of death, in the first one, I forgot to mention this. Karub just sliced one of the trolls in half. He bisected him. And not only did he bisect him, he then, when the troll refused to die and kept coming after them, the spider, the arachne, tied the troll up and tossed him in the pot that was cooking. All the other trolls are tied up. That guy is dead. He is going to cook. I mean, I guess he already did, because that was the past. That, I mean, it's one thing to see this kind of show feature what could be seen as a death on screen, but even though the troll did survive it, it's like there's no surviving that. There's no getting past that. That's dark. These episodes were fun. I liked them, not as much as last week's episodes, but I did like them. I've kind of by this point kind of thrown away my misgivings about the entire thing about the series being super episodic and about all of my issues with it just being just these stories about Karib and stuff. I've kind of thrown away my issues with that at this point because I've kind of just accepted that that's how this show is. And I mean, I don't necessarily like it or anything, but I'm not going to hate on it, and I'm not going to use it as an excuse to hate on episodes either at this point. I'm just going to move on and take the episodes as they come and judge them on their own quality. And on their own quality, these episodes were good. Again, not the best, not as good as last week's, but they were good. I enjoyed the new characters we got. I enjoyed the humor. And yeah, and it definitely continues to prove that I did drop this series too early. So hey, I'm getting to check it out again. I'm glad that I'm getting to give it another chance because it's deserving of one, I'd say. It's still not as good as Whack Fu, but it's definitely surprised me a bit. Either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of these two episodes, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,